here are my 5 tips that helped me go from a BJJ white belt to a blue belt. Just a bit of an introduction about my BJJ history, ladies and gentlemen. I've been practicing BJJ now intermittently for the past 4 years, and I've recently just been promoted to a BJJ blue belt about 4 months ago. So I'm by no means a black belt, and I'm far away from achieving that goal yet. However, there are a few things that I learned on my short journey, which I believe are very beneficial to me and hopefully very beneficial to all of you. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So the first tip that I would have or would like to share with you all is do not put too much pressure on yourselves. And that does definitely happen quite often, but understand that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or anything that takes time in life or is worthwhile takes time. So, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is by no means an exception to this rule. As a novice, expect to be swept, expect to be submitted probably by someone a lot smaller than you, or at least that's the case with me. It definitely is a difficult sport, and this is coming from someone that's boxed for 8 years, and essentially that just proves or is testament to the effectiveness of the gentle art. So we need to understand that. So be okay, accept making mistakes, learn from those mistakes and move on. Again, it's all part of that journey and we're all here to learn. So don't put too much pressure on yourselves. And understand that, or the beauty of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that it's not just about the physical growth that entails with the consistent training or showing up. There's also an emotional and definitely a mental, and some could argue even a spiritual growth there. So enjoy the process, trust the process. That's my first tip. Tip number 2, have a weekly schedule. So let me expand a little bit on this. Someone who's been working on the commercial sector for quite a while, I completely understand the rigors and difficulty of trying to find not just time for jiu-jitsu, but family and your personal life as well. However, with that being said, if you want to get your blue belt, you need to show up. So get on the mats, get there, put in the work. And what I found useful trying to balance all these spinning plates was having a weekly schedule. So I would jot down, usually at the end of the week, what I need to do. Obviously there'd be work stuff as well. And I would slot in the days that I felt I had the most time or I could definitely make jiu-jitsu. And I would do it, and I would honor that schedule, that weekly schedule. And to be honest with you, it really kind of clears the air or the fog, if you will, of the week, and you're not kind of running around like a headless chicken. You have an objective, you have a place where you need to be, a set time and place, and you just go and hit it. And also, which I thought was very important as well, what I thought was it's very useful with this weekly schedule that I implement, and I still do, is it kind of affords me the freedom or the ability to kind of almost switch off and just kind of show up to training, get it done, and then move on. And it essentially just becomes embedded. And as corny as it sounds, it's almost like brushing your teeth. So have that weekly schedule, plan your days out, and that hopefully will help you get in more sessions and give you better time and better time management. So that's my tip number 2, have a weekly schedule. Let's move on to, I know I'm going a bit faster and I'm trying to keep these as short as simple as possible. So just bear with me. So tip number 3, which is ask loads of questions. So this is something that's actually quite, I hold quite dear to myself, is don't ever feel shy or ashamed for trying to better oneself or for seeking knowledge to better oneself. There's no shame in it whatsoever. So if you don't understand something, ask. By all means, go ask. Ask your instructor, ask your training partners. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help, or at least that's been my experience. Every gym I've gone to be honest, they've all been essentially like-minded people, and they've all walked in my footsteps before me. So understand that. There's no shame in asking. And to be quite honest with you, most of the time, at least if you're asking maybe a training partner, etc., they might feel quite honored that you asked them. So ask them about that position, ask about that move. Ask. All right, don't shy away from questions. So that's my tip number 3. Tip number 4 is do not compare yourself to others. Focus on yourself. Understand, again, to reiterate, that each of our journeys are unique and individual. So, and understand that your only concern is your own value added to your own progress. And also, remember that what another person is doing in the gym is essentially none of your business. Your only business is getting better. And personally, I believe that by focusing on other people, it sometimes can undermine one's confidence. I mean, there could be plenty of reasons why. Maybe someone who started with you is getting better. They could have more time. They could be more naturally athletic than you are. They could have had a previous grappling background. We don't know and we don't care. Our only concern is ourselves and our own journey. So that's my tip number 4. Focus on yourself and do not compare yourself to others. There could be many reasons why they're ahead. There could be even other people there that might be looking at you and thinking, wow, you're doing really well with the time you have, and they're maybe declining. So again, we're all on our own unique journeys, and it's best to focus on ourselves and improve ourselves. So that's my tip number 4. Do not compare yourselves to others. My final tip, and again, ladies and gentlemen, this is something I've compiled based on my own experience and what I found very useful, would be watching film. So tip number 5, just to clarify, is watch film. Now, I'm going to put a few caveats here. The first one is, this I believe would be good for people essentially, and by the way, I've taken this from boxing. Like I've obviously watched a lot of boxing film. So this is maybe for people that are kind of more or less near the end of their white belt journey. They're maybe a 4th dan white belt, 3 to 4th dan. They're definitely holding their own with the blue belts. They are tapping blue belts. They're definitely in blue belt territory. I mean, they should be essentially, they are blue belts, but maybe haven't, their promotion still pending. So until they get that, they're not officially a blue belt, but they're definitely got the skill set. This tip is for those people. So just to elaborate a bit more. So what I mean about watching film is, there are a lot of great instructional videos out there and a lot of great content. So utilize it. Make use of it. We're in the age of information. So make the most of it. Get certain moves. I mean, I found that very useful. However, and again, this is the second caveat, this is only supplement your training. It can't be your whole training regimen, all right? This is something that is an add-on. It's essentially doing homework. You're taking the initiative, or at least I took the initiative, to check out a few moves and hopefully hit them during training. Maybe I didn't show up as often as I wanted that week and the instructor explained the move. I didn't see it, but I went on my own and found good moves and content out there on YouTube or other platforms. I don't need to name any channels, but there are plenty, and I mean plenty of good ones. Also, like I said, show some discretion, because this is for people maybe a bit later on at their jiu-jitsu journey, because it could get, especially at the beginning of your journey, very overwhelming. Have faith in your instructors, have faith in the process, and then as you start expanding, you'll be starting to add new arsenals to, new tools to your arsenal within your BJJ game, as I did. I'm a tall, lanky individual. I found, for example, using the Darce choke and researching different points of attack from that said move very useful, and it surprised a lot of my sparring partners. So it was very good, or my training partners, if you will. So those are my 5 tips, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. And I really appreciate it. Like, share, and subscribe, and shoot me any questions below, or any comments, or any videos you'd like for me to make. And just remember to have fun, stay safe both on and off the mat, especially in these crazy times, and stay untamed.